They were just asking about the family and...
She was about to tell us about her super awesome gift!
Disney's musical fantasy Encanto thrilled the audiences with its rich story about the extraordinary magical family hidden in the mountains of Colombia. It's a compelling story about the power of magic and family bonds, and it's no wonder the movie was a hit with fans. Encanto might not be a blockbuster like other Disney titles, but it performed exceptionally well at the cinemas, and the fans are already clamoring for a sequel to continue the story of the magical family. In today's video, we'll be bringing you everything we know so far about Encanto 2. If you love videos on animated movies and TV series, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more.
And it's not perfect, and people are going to be coming.
You're tornadoing the flowers! The flowers!
When it comes to new titles, it can be quite tricky to make a successful movie if not executed properly. With the sequel, you know that the audience already has an idea about the characters and the plot, which makes it easier to succeed. Fortunately for Encanto, it was the perfect mix of Disney's world-class animation and genius storytelling. After a solid theater run, the movie made its way to Disney Plus, where it enjoyed more playtime. During a first quarter earnings call, Disney CEO Bob discussed plans for sequels for movies like Toy Story, Zootopia, and Frozen. Despite not adding Encanto to the list, the CEO expressed his desire to turn Encanto title into a full-blown franchise. He enthusiastically praised the movie's performance on Disney Plus. He even went as far as attributing the streaming platform's increase in revenue to the animated film. This is a tall praise coming from the company that manages other massive titles, and it's safe to assume that they might greenlight an Encanto sequel soon. We know that Disney is always on the lookout for the best titles for sequels, and it looks like Encanto is primed to snap up a spot in Walt Disney Studios' future schedule. In recent years, we've seen a significant increase in the time between movie sequels. Zootopia hit theaters in 2016, and a sequel to the cop action comedy just got the thumbs up in 2023. And it's not just Disney. Other animation studios like Pixar and Illumination Studios take time to dish out sequels to their hit movies. The award-winning songwriter Lin-Manuel Miranda, who worked on the music for Encanto, has told interviewers that an Encanto sequel is only a matter of time. But he also has more interest in seeing a theme park ride for the magical family members first than he is in filming a sequel. While Mirabel has been added as a character actor in Disney theme parks, a ride would certainly show that Disney has confidence in this property. The idea of fans being able to make a journey through Castia is certainly an appealing one. Seeing that Encanto hasn't been around for too long, we might be looking at a long wait for a sequel. After world premiere on November 3rd, 2021, Encanto was released theatrically on November 24th, 2021, and after a 30-day run, the film was made available on Disney Plus on December 24th. If Encanto is officially announced next year, fans might expect a release date of at least 2025 due to the demands of production. That might sound like bad news for viewers who can't wait to see more from the magical family, but it's better than no news.
Oh, it's nothing. A little sisterly advice. If you weren't always trying too hard, you wouldn't be in the way.
When Disney officially gives Encanto 2 the green light, fans should expect updates on things like its official release date and also returning cast members. Part of what made the first film so successful is the characters and the feelings the magical were given by the voice cast. We'd love to see the entire main cast back for a potential sequel, which would again likely be led by Stephanie Beatrice as Mirabel. Encanto marks the second time that she has worked with the musical genius Lin-Manuel Miranda. She's played Carla in the Heights in the 2021 film adaptation of Miranda's award-winning Broadway musical. The Argentinian actress's career has taken off in the last few years, starting with her role as Detective Rosa Diaz in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She's also voiced characters in shows like BoJack Horseman, Maya and the Three, and Bob's Burgers. She'll be joined by the likes of John Leguizamo as Bruno, Jessica Darrow as Luisa, Diane Guerrero as Isabella and Maria Cecilia as Abuela. Encanto's voice cast is made up of a mix of veteran actors and some who are new to the industry, but they make it work perfectly. This is evident by the 3 Oscar nominations it received for Best Original Score, Best Original Song, and Best Animated Feature. Even though we see the world of Encanto through Mirabel's eyes, the movie works because it leans into the family dynamic as they learn to appreciate and celebrate each other's unique qualities.
Say something terrible, and then crack, boom, it will happen.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Encanto starts off by showing the viewers the tragic loss that Alma Madrigal had to face in the Thousand-Day War. After she loses her husband, she is blessed by a magical candle that transports her and her children to a hidden village surrounded by mountains. The candle grants special magical abilities to her children, and it also builds a living house for them in the village called Castia. The bulk of the movie revolves around her descendants and their interactions with their home. Several years down the line, we get introduced to 15-year-old Mirabel Madrigal, who struggles with being normal in a family filled with gifted people. Her lack of powers causes her to go in search of the infamous Bruno, who reveals that he saw a vision where she destroys Castia. She tries to prevent this horrible future, but it ends up coming to pass after Alma blames her for their family's misfortune. After a mountain comes crashing down on their home, Mirabel runs away, but she is soon found by Alma, who apologizes. The movie ends with the whole family accepting each other and coming together to rebuild their home. Seeing how things ended, one might think there is nothing more to the Encanto story, but that is far from the truth. By the end of the movie, the Magical family finally acknowledges their weakness as a unit, and their love for each other helps them overcome it. A sequel might see Mirabel finally getting an ability like her siblings. Unlike most members of the Magical family who grew up with their powers, giving an older Mirabel power sounds like a fun idea for a movie. Watching her discover and struggle to control her new powers while getting help from her family. Even though Encanto has aspects of conflict and loss, it doesn't make use of a villain, which opens up a world of possibilities for the sequel. Adding a superpowered villain to the mix will elevate the story more as we get to watch the Magicals use their power to protect the people of Encanto. That being said, Disney has used movies like Luca and Turning Red to prove that you don't need a villain to tell a compelling story. They may still decide to forego villains in the Encanto sequel, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to include one. Another fan theory making the rounds has Mirabel taking over from Alma as the Abuela of the Magical family. This theory leans towards Mirabel taking the Magical family out of their hidden sanctuary and into the wider world again. Alma lost her husband in a tragic conflict, so it makes sense that her descendants may find it hard to venture out into the world. Mirabel might not have any special powers, but she helps her family understand each other, which makes her the perfect person to take her family out of hiding. Granted, this storyline only works if we have a time skip, but it wouldn't be the first time we've seen young characters take up mature roles in animated movies.
And not special, since, you have no gift.
Thanks.
Disney's Encanto is on a long list of titles that needed a sequel fast, and we're sure that the execs at Disney know that, so it shouldn't take too long before we get a definitive time frame. Until then, we'll have to make do with movies from other animation studios. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Do you agree that Disney needs to make Encanto 2, or are there any other movies that needed a sequel ASAP? Let us know in the comments below.
What's going on? What are you hiding?
Nothing. Just got a lot of chores, so maybe you should just go home.
Lisa, my house is leaning to the...